Hello and welcome to another edition of Grandstanders Live. I'm your host, Scott Kerman, and I'm joined by my usual cohorts, the Professor Russ Stevens, Uncle Joe McLaughlin, and he's JP's first son, Tim Hoey. Well, we have another great show for you tonight, boys, so let's get it started. We've got to start with the Celtics. We just love trades, right? Sports shows have always been built on trade rumors, talking trades. So it's the trading deadline tomorrow. There's already been actually some pretty big moves in the NBA. The Celtics haven't been part of it yet. What's your expectations? We'll start with Russ, with what Brad Stevens does or doesn't do in the next 24 hours.
I think a very good chance of a small trade with Schroeder just to get under the luxury tax. He's not necessary. He's not starting. He's not playing well as a backup. I think there's a decent chance of, let's call it a medium-sized move. That could be moving one of the young guys like Langford or Neesmith. Richardson would be probably a medium-sized move. I think there's very little chance of a large move. Like, I would consider him a large move. I would consider obviously Brown or even Horford a large move. I just think it's too complicated, and they've got to, they're on a roll, and I think they want to see another 25 games out of these starters. See what they got.
Yeah, Joe, the last 10, 12 games, they've played well, especially Marcus Smart. Do you think this is a part of what Brad Stevens thinks about when possibly making a deal?
No, I think that's what the fans think about. Everyone jumps on the bandwagon. They've been playing, the little sisters of the poor here coming down the stretch. The Detroits, the Orlandos, the Nets without anyone, and they don't have any depth to begin with. But I agree with Ross, small trade only. Maybe Dennis Schroeder to get under the cap and get a future, second round pick, an asset of sorts. You're not going to get much from him. He's expiring contract. He's a free agent at the end of the year. Richardson, hard to trade given his contract.
But they signed him.
Hard to trade. Rob Williams almost impossible to trade, and you don't want to trade the Jays.
Yeah.
So the extension they signed Josh Richardson is what makes him hard to sign.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that, but I'm not sure. It's pretty easy money. It's $11 million, I think.
Yeah, but where the extension, then now you have to include like last year's money and next year's money in the in the trade valuation. It makes it much more difficult to trade him. It adds like an extra $3 million into the process, which is enough to screw things up. So I don't expect more than that. I'd like to see them trade Richardson because he has been a valuable addition over the last, say, month. But if you can get a young guy, like Beasley or someone, any of these guys' names that have been tossed around, yeah, go with the younger guy.
Yeah, Timmy, Danny Ainge was infamous for encouraging us to believe that he was going to make deals and not make any deals. I mean, hopefully Brad Stevens is not a Danny Ainge and he does something. At the very least, Schroeder's got to go, right? I mean,
what's kind of screwing things up is this little sample, the last 6-game sample that we've been seeing, and I mean, this team has done this to us several times this year. They kind of give us some hope, and they look like a unit, and then they go out and they blow a 25-point lead in the fourth quarter. What was it, like every third or fourth game they were doing that for a while? And they're kind of giving us a tease here. Is this sustainable, what they're doing now? But getting back, I think that they should package up a group of these young guys and get someone that can help now. I really don't know who's out there that a good ball handler. Either that or a good big.
There's going to be somebody we're not thinking about if he does make a deal.
Has been bandied about, with the Bucks. So he's been, there's a playmaking guy. The one thing that encourages me is I've seen in the last week I've seen two general managers say it's refreshing to be able to deal with Brad because Danny would try to back you into a corner and take you for everything he had, and he was very hard to deal with. Brad, you can at least talk with him, make some trade proposals.
Yeah, Russ, I'm surprised that you say Al Horford would be a bigger deal. Why?
Well, only
why is that?
Scotty, only
The money.
because of the money, Scott. Only because of money. If you're going to deal Horford at $27 million, you're getting a guy that someone paid $27 million
Yeah.
for probably
Right.
back, and so
Yeah.
you're not trading him for draft picks, right?
Right.
So, but just getting back to Tim's point, which is a good one. Is there anything more Celticsy than this friggin' team making a run right before the All-Star game and right before the trade deadline? Like this is just classic. This is classic Celtics, right? They decide that they're going to start playing, coherent basketball for 2 weeks up until the trade deadline to make everybody's life more difficult.
But what you guys talked about last week, they've played poor teams, and no teams could have been any poorer than the Magic and the Nets back to back. Adam Silver should be embarrassed in the NBA that they put out such a product.
I thought my computer was screwed up last night. I checked into the score; it was 28-2.
Yeah, I mean,
That was the worst. That was the worst team I've ever seen assembled on a basketball court in the NBA. But look, they have 5 players injured. They had the 3 stars, and then their 2 best players after the stars. 3 best players after the stars were out.
well, first
The
of all,
top 6 guys were out.
Kyrie's not injured. Kyrie
Right.
chooses not to get vaccinated, so
Good point.
so he's not allowed to play.
Good point.
I mean, so Kyrie would like to think he's injured and just collect his check.
But if you took the top 6 players of the Celtics out in the same game,
yeah, of course.
you'd have gotten the same result that the Nets got last night.
Yeah. So do we read the team off of that, or do we read the team off
Look,
of seeing?
the only thing is, Timmy, they were losing these games earlier in the year, and they had been beating the bag out of these teams. I mean, they're not just winning by 5 points; they are beating the bag out of these teams. So
They're going coast to coast with these. There's none of that, get up to a 28-point lead and then blow it down to nothing.
What do we see as the biggest change? Smart just passing the ball?
I think Marcus Smart, when he can't look, the winning streak coincides with crappy teams, but the winning streak comes with Marcus Smart playing instead of Dennis Schroeder. We don't have to watch Dennis Schroeder walking the ball up the court when you're up by 15 points, with that ridiculous move. And Smart's not shooting. Last night he shot, but he hasn't been shooting. He's just been a point guard. That's all they need.
I think that, it all got to him and that we want you to play the playmaker. This is the position we need you to play. We don't need you to play anything else.
Do we think that Smart might have driven his value up even higher? And do you think Brad would have the guts now that he's kind of at the peak of his value?
Scotty's getting all frothed up thinking about it. Look at Scotty. I could see the blood rushing to his
Yeah,
face.
that's exactly what you would hope, right? You want to sell high, right?
Well,
We
this
talked
makes
about
the value higher for the Celtics, not for anyone else.
Look, is his value as high as it was 2 off seasons ago?
I think it is now. Yeah, because he signed to a decent contract. Like, so you're not just getting. Yeah.
That's great. And most guys in his level are making twice that.
So look, we got the situation we wanted back. We all wanted to get rid of Marcus Smart at one point. Now all of a sudden his value's back to where they should have pulled the trigger, Danny Ainge, 2 years ago. He has to trade him right now because the appeal is he could help a team win a chip.
Yeah, some of us wanted Marcus Smart traded more aggressively than others.
Yeah, me.
Okay,
Absolutely.
so
I had about a 3-week window where I was with it.
And now you don't want Marcus Smart to go.
I don't know. I'm like torn right now. I'm 50-50. I mean, I can't reverse my direction so hard that I was, 3 weeks ago. Because before that, I was a huge Marcus Smart promoter.
Right.
And then he disappointed me a lot, and this team was disappointing me, and we were all pointing at Marcus Smart as the cause of that disappointment. So of course, I changed my tone. But this guy, I've liked him for years. He brings something to a team. So I don't know. It depends on what we get from him. I don't want to send him up for a bag of balls. You know what I
Yes.
mean?
It
there's
depends on
something
what
that
we
can
get. Right.
really
Yeah.
help
So
this
I think-
team, would I be against it? No,
Yeah.
but it has to be. It can't be a bag of balls that we, just shipping
That's
them out
right.
for.
Well,
No,
don't you
no,
think his value would be greater in the off season?
No.
And you'll only have 2 years left on a very convenient contract.
No.
30 million will all they'll, if someone has to take a chance on them, they're more willing to when it's basically an expiring contract.
No, Joe. No. Answer is clearly no. This is what
And the Celtics can use him right now.
look. I understand Eastern Conference is weak. Possibly you could get out of there, but you're not going to beat a Golden State or a Utah in the finals. You just trade Marcus Smart and move on. It's pretty
For
clear.
what, though? For what, Scotty? Just addition by subtraction? Is that how you look at it?
Absolutely. Look, you're not going to win the next championship the Celtics win, and hopefully it's in our lifetime. Marcus Smart's not going to be on the team.
No, Scotty,
That's
but
been
this
a
isn't.
big
We're
plus
not.
of late.
We're not. You know this, but we're not an addition by subtraction. I think Schroeder is an addition by subtraction. He's not playing well, and he's not signed next year. If someone comes and actually offers you something valuable that could help your team in the future, then
Right,
you
of
trade
course.
Marcus Smart.
I'm
But
not
you don't
giving him
trade
away.
just to get him out of here.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not giving him away. You have to have
No,
some chips, right? You have to have some
But that's-
players and some
Scotty,
picks.
You come across like just get him out of here. Just get him. I don't care what we get. Just get him out of here.
I want him out of here, and just no. Take the best offer on the table, and Marcus has got 24 hours left here in Boston. Other than that, I don't know how I can make myself any more clear. You got to get this guy out of here.
You're killing me. There's always a player in Boston who's polarizing and
Daniel, I'll just say the word Daniel
Scott-
Nava.
Daniel Nava, Tuukka Rask. Like it's either you love him or
Krejci.
you hate him.
Krejci.
Sony Michelle. There's
No,
always
that's Uncle Joe's. Kelly Olynyk.
Smelly Kelly.
Kelly Kelly. No, I want Marcus Smart out there. You all going to be happier. Seriously, the food's going to taste better.
I'm not signing up for that. I'm not there.
Scotty, like
I'm not there.
a lottery, somebody in the lottery, a first round pick lottery.
Future picks. Look, they talked about Jason Richardson.
Future picks.
Jason Richardson, a 2027 first round pick from the Lakers. I'll take that. Absolutely. I know it's 5 years away, but you never know. The Lakers could stink. That could be a heck of a pick. I will take a
Lakers always get
2046 first round pick for Marcus Smart.
You are just the worst. You really are. But
Oh, you're going to
at
be
least
so
you're
much happier
consistent.
when he's
And
gone.
At least you're consistent.
Russell, the worst part is he starts convincing me that this is the right thing.
Yeah, no.
And I'm like brushing my teeth in the morning, thinking,
No.
why am I going with Scotty on this? You know,
All right, because it's the right thing to me. That's why. Just come with me. Get on my back. I will bring you to the promised land.
it's like Scotty brainwashing. He just keeps driving it into you.
Don't fall for it, Timmy.
Dripping
Have strength.
dripping water. That's all I'm
Have
here
strength.
for. All right.
By the way, if we listen to Scotty, we'd have Cam Newton on year 3 of a 5-year
Oh, I
contract.
know. I remember.
He
There we go.
Timmy's-
Sitting in Brookline, devouring every piece of food they put in front of me. Agreeing with, I questioned Scotty about the 5-year contract for Cam that night. You know?
yeah, you wanted it 4 years.
I looked up from my plate of food and said, "What? Don't we remember a lefty skinny pitcher for the Red Sox?"
Yeah,
Don't
right.
get me going.
Oh my, makes me so sad. All right, so Celtics, big move. All right, big move, small move. What's going to happen, Russ?
Small with a chance of medium. That's
Okay,
it.
Joe.
Agreed. I'm 100% with Russ on that.
All right, Timmy.
What?
Small or big move to end
Small.
it?
This season.
Small.
Yeah.
Small.
Yeah, a lot of their targets are gone. So, I mean, a lot of the trades
Look.
that they might have wanted to make have already been made by Portland and Sacramento.
Look, Scotty, one other thing that we haven't mentioned, if you're not gonna play, I think you got to trade Neesmith or Langford and
No
see what you
question.
can get for one of them. I don't say trade them both, But see, package one of them up with Schroeder. See if you can get a first-round pick. Clean it out. Like create some space for these guys to play.
Yeah. Rumors Grant Williams is on the trading block.
Crazy,
Are you guys
right?
surprised at that?
Yeah, I am surprised.
Because actually he's
He's
played
10.
very
By the way, he's in the top 10 of the NBA in 3-point percentage.
So who's trading for?
That spot up, uncontested 3-point from the
Fine.
corner.
That's all you
Well,
put.
one foot to the left or right, and he can't make it.
But yeah, you know what though, Joe? That's his job. That he's doing his job.
Oh,
They told him
I
he had to.
agree. He's doing it 100%. He does a decent job on defense.
Yeah,
I'd say the Patriots need a tight end. I think they should.
right.
I know.
6'5". Right.
It's weird because, I mean, that would make me think that they're definitely not going to get rid of Marcus Smart, because you want one of those tough guys like the Grant Williams, Marcus Smart. It would.
They're not getting Scotty. They're not getting rid of Marcus Smart. They're just not.
If they got rid of Grant Williams, I would believe that that's because Udoka does not like him. That would be the only.
Sometimes I get the feeling Udoka doesn't like him.
Yeah.
Maybe he ran into him at the weed shop in Brookline. I don't know.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Well, needless to say, he doesn't like Pritchard, because I thought Pritchard was definitely a good backup point guard. He hardly even plays in garbage time.
Wait, I just got the highlight. Tuukka Rask just officially retired.
There you go.
Yeah, well, we're going to talk about that.
Timmy shedding a tear.
Another grandstander drives somebody out of town. That's going to be the headline. All right, so much to talk about in football. My first question, we talk about during the course of the year, we will mention a referee in a sport, in a major sport, and say they're corrupt. So my first question, of the 4 major sports, what's the most corrupt league? Russ.
Oh, I think the most corrupt league is the NFL. I don't even think there's I think the stupidest league is Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
But the most corrupt league, it's NFL lapping the field.
You should.
Stanford's too stupid to be corrupt.
Yeah.
But the NBA's got to be. You don't think the NBA is a close second with the corruptness of the referees?
I think my guess is that, there's been a lot of scrutiny on those NBA refs over the years. I don't have a big issue. I don't think the NBA refs are bad. I think the NBA refs are pretty decent. Like, I think they'll blow a call here and there, but I'm not getting any sort of systemic corruption.
I'll say this about the NBA refs. I mean, when they go to instant replay, if they're wrong, it's not by too much, 95% of the time.
Yeah.
Look, the NBA referees, we know in our own, personal rooting of 2010, they extended
this is 2000. I mean, I'm talking about today, 2000. Like
we
absolutely.
We were all raised on Johnny Most, so that's ingrained in us. You know what I mean?
There are refs in the NBA that probably are corrupt. Do a little point shaving for themselves. Tony correct.
My view of the NFL though is that the fact that these NFL players leave the league, a good amount of them just so physically damaged, makes me like kind of angry at the owners for even doing this. You know what I mean? These guys come in there, they're literally pieces of meat that come through this league, and they all leave with brain damage and they can't walk and
no guaranteed contracts.
No guaranteed contracts. I don't know if their union's so weak or the players. There's so many guys that want to play that, hey, you don't want to play. There's another guy, 20 guys right behind you willing to take your spot. It's like that's the part about the NFL that makes me look at it and shake my head. That it's almost even legal to do.
Yeah.
The average expectancy of playing is 2.5 years in the NFL, and their pension starts after year 3. That's all you need to know about those lowlights. But Timmy, you made a great point during the week when our text thread is that only the NFL could have the owner of a team is possibly paying the head coach to throw games, and they can bury that story. And we don't hear it in any way, shape, or form on ESPN, NFL Network, and stuff. That's a criminal enterprise that has everybody part of the conspiracy.
Well,
week I've been.
they're all partners. ESPN is partners with the NFL. They show their games on ABC, ESPN, right across their network. And
Well-
same with NBC and the Peacock Network and CBS.
I've been
They're all
searching.
complicit.
I've been searching the internet for information about that all week, and there isn't a freaking peep about it.
We're so naive. We came on the show last week and we said, "Oh, this is going to be the biggest story in the history of sports." It wasn't anything. Zero.
All you
Nothing.
need to, I couldn't agree
Jackson
with,
got a vacation home, and that's all you need to know.
I couldn't agree with Joe more. Every single major network, and by the way, including Amazon, if you're not in the NFL's
Yep.
business, you want to be in the NFL's business. So Apple and Amazon are. So they're all part of the same ecosystem. And there's no one's going to hold the NFL accountable for anything. No one's ever going to hold the NFL accountable. And the proof is, we thought a week ago the story about Flores in filing that suit against the NFL was going to change things. 7 out of the 9 coaches were white. The first 7.
Yeah.
And the last 2, because they played a game of musical chairs, they had to. I mean, Miami and Houston had to hire black coaches because the other 7 hired white coaches.
Well, Miami hired a white coach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what?
Yeah.
And we'll all be in front of the TV Sunday watching that game.
Of course, it's
America
a monopoly.
cannot get enough NFL football.
Yeah.
I can't. I'll admit it. I can't get enough.
Yeah, and
They
so
have
they
an
hire
incredible-
Lovie Smith, the Texans, which it's just a strange move that he was their defensive coordinator. Why would you get rid of the head coach and then hire the defensive coordinator on a shitty team?
Because the NFL told you needed to hire a black coach.
Miami had to because of Flores.
Absolutely had to. That
No,
was it.
Miami,
The only
Miami hired a white coach. What are you guys talking about?
no,
they
McDaniel.
hired a black
McDaniel identifies as a black
Oh, he does?
black man. Yeah.
Oh, I thought he was white.
No, he
Oh.
identifies as black. So there's
It's
2.
an Irish, having an Irish surname doesn't make you white.
Oh, okay. That I'm completely confused by
Yeah,
that.
no,
Hey,
no,
you know,
it's understandable because, but he identifies as black. Scott, he comes from a mixed race.
oh, okay. I didn't know. I didn't
Heritage,
realize
yeah.
that. And yeah, he has very little experience. He's only been in the NFL, what, 5 years?
Yeah, but you know it's the point Tim and Joe are making. Like it's the mafia, right? They control everything. They control everything.
So,
Everyone's in bed. Everyone's in
Yep.
bed together.
That's exactly right.
That's 99% of the media control.
The revenue being generated is staggering. Staggering.
so they cannot have, look, when you have owners like Daniel Snyder and Allen and Irsay and the guy in Cleveland, I mean, you got a lot of bad guys, and yet we don't hear anything about them.
And right away, I just want to add
the
this.
closest thing to royalty that the United States has is the NFL owners. They get treated special. When you hold a Super Bowl there in LA, every single owner has a police escort everywhere they go in the city this week and last week. Every owner gets a whole floor of a hotel. These are all guarantees before you're even considered for a Super Bowl. Every owner has to be treated special. That's 32 of them, you know?
I have a question for Russell. Russell, if the NFL gets in bed with this gambling, if it's legalized across the country, right? What's the average value of an NFL franchise right now?
I mean, just think about it's going to be staggering. It's going to be a multiplier,
So
right,
if
Scotty?
they partner up with MGM and Caesars
It's a multiplier.
and these and Fan King and FanDuel, DraftKings, would you say the values go up 50% on a team?
Well, I mean, as I understand it,
on DraftKings for years. A
Yeah.
huge sport part of
as I
DraftKings.
understand it in soccer, you can be in the stadium and you can bet almost like play to play live betting, right? Imagine what kind of revenue that's going to throw off in these stadiums and everywhere, and that every NFL team's going to get a piece of that.
Every seat's gonna have a little gambling button on it.
Or a little iPad. You get a little iPad for your ticket with your ticket. You know, a cheap, just a little tablet. If the ticket's for, $300-400, they can give you a $10 tablet to, just do bets on.
Well, I think if I read correctly, it was the Washington Nationals are going to have kiosks around the stadium.
Yeah.
And so you just go up on the kiosk. This is all going to be very similar to horse racing now. And then you just go in your kiosk. And the reason is because then they're going to obviously be able to take the percentage right there at the stadium, so they don't have to share it with anyone.
Holy
What they're going to
smokes.
do is somehow they're going to work it. If any of these organizations want to take bets for these games, they have to give the NFL a certain percentage.
But it used to live there. Now, would the laws be different in Washington, D.C., where it is not a state in this United States? Can they have different gambling laws?
Yeah, they very well may. Look, I spoke to Tommy Vitolo about this, and Massachusetts is dragging their feet still on getting this passed, which is just typical Massachusetts ridiculous.
I'll have to drive down to Rhode Island again tomorrow.
Well, Scotty, on the other hand, maybe they just see the hazards that are attached to this,
Oh, yeah.
They legalized marijuana pretty smoothly.
Well, that took a while.
Right, but
They want to get. They're gonna have to cross their palms with some money before they get action. They want to have a piece of the action.
no,
And it won't be them exactly. It'll be the legislators' brother-in-laws, and all of a sudden have the franchise in Everett say for the gambling shop.
So, Joe, do you think that they legalize gambling that could draw Brady back into the NFL? Because
oh, for God's sake! Oh my God, Les, you were so right last night. Oh, what he's this? I told you he's Tom Cruise. There's something psychopathic about him. He just retired, and now he's talking about unretiring.
Hey, did anyone read Dan Shaughnessy's article today?
I didn't yet. No, what did he say?
He had 3 descriptions for the guy that does the interview with Brady. What's his name there?
Jim Gray. Yeah.
Jim Gray. He called the chief bootlicker. There were two other descriptions.
He's right on with that. Jim Gray is awful.
All the trophies he has behind him when he's interviewing.
They could be reading that interview off cue cards.
Yeah,
they
that's
are.
bad.
He gets Brady's PR people send him the interview beforehand.
I'm not. That's just pathetic. I mean, what's happened to Tom Brady is because it's going to end badly because he cannot have anyone not talk about Tom Brady 24/7.
I think, Scotty, he's a drama queen, and I think this is just all about his brand. Whether he comes back or plays or not, he just needs to keep the TB12 brand in the news as long as he possibly can, and he knows he's in the long tail of that.
He did get screwed on the retirement announcement. He wanted to make a big splash.
Oh, for God's sake, please don't say he got screwed. Tom Brady, that's all you hear about 24/7 is about this 45-year-old guy. Come on, enough's freaking enough.
44. It's not 45 till next July.
Do you think he comes back, Scotty? Do you think he actually comes back to play football?
Yes, I do. I actually do. Yeah, I think he pulls a Roger Clemens and comes back week 8.
And Joe, what about you?
It's a distinct possibility, but
Timmy,
I would bet yes. There's going to be a scenario, like maybe like a Kansas City Chiefs or a good team. You know what I mean? That's positioned to go into the playoffs. They've almost maybe secured a position in the playoffs, and their quarterback gets hurt, and they call in Tom Brady to come in. The last 2 games of the year of the playoffs, and he comes in like a hero. And
yeah, he's like the NBA
4
players.
or 5 good receivers.
He's like the
only
NBA
thing
players.
is Tampa Bay still has his rights. That's the only maybe.
The NBA players, they chase crowns. Like they look at the standings, like James Harden, and says, "Who has the best chance? I want to go there."
I don't think he comes back, and mainly for one reason is I'm pretty sure that over the last 10 years of his career, he stayed in game shape, meaning he could play football on any given Sunday for 52 weeks of the year. And I think when you're 44 years old and you you kind of wind down and he gets out of game shape.
You know, we're
I
gonna
think
see
it's really hard to get back into
does
it.
Tom Brady stay in shape, like preparing to come
I don't
back?
think he can, Timmy, because I think that's one of the reasons why Giselle told him you got to hang him up, because he can't be. It's not the Sundays, it's the friggin' Mondays through Fridays, right?
Oh, I don't know. Russ, I was just gonna say, chances are tomorrow we'll see the video of him on the beach.
Yeah.
With the rope around his waist.
I don't think so.
Oh, you don't think so?
I don't think he's coming back. No, I think this is all about his brand. I think this is all just trying to keep. He's very needy. It's all about his narrative, and he knows if he can string this along, he's going to make a lot of money. It's all about the money. It's this whole thing right this point in time is about the money.
And they said he made $450 million just in salary in the NFL. Those guys, those two have got to be worth a combined $1 billion.
I think he's going to buy the Jets.
Oh, that's a rumor. That's a rumor.
I think he's going to buy the Jets.
Well done, Russell. Well done. Well
He
done.
would love to.
Really good.
I think that is his ultimate aim.
He and Giselle could buy the. He and Giselle could buy the Jets.
Well, with
right?
some other partners.
Yeah.
Maybe they
they're
could buy
plenty of money.
Jacksonville. That should go cheap.
Yeah, buy the Jets.
Scotty, you'd be an excellent GM.
Oh, you are such a troublemaker. It's beyond belief.
Right. Well, that's the franchise. Either that or the Dolphins. When the NFL makes Stephen Ross sell the Dolphins,
Yeah.
aren't Tom and Giselle sitting right? He could be a QB owner of the Dolphins next year.
He's got Giselle money too, not just
He's got Giselle money. 100%.
Maybe the Commanders. He could buy the Commanders and then just call them the Brady's.
Giselle can design the uniforms.
Oh God.
All right, because we can't stop talking about Tom Brady enough. I have to talk about Deflategate, and it brings back all the anger and bitterness. And not that we need to be any more bitter because it's freaking February in New England, and we got enough bitterness to go around. But it's pretty clear that Troy Vincent. Why was Troy Vincent making any of these decisions? He hates the Patriots. He was a reason for Deflategate. And then apparently he was the replay official for the Eagles-Patriots Super Bowl.
Yep. And Jeff Pash, the other guy, has always hated the Patriots. He was GM of the Jets. And he had, but Kraft took care of that in one way by paying the fine. Remember they had their meeting. He told Goodell, okay, I'll play along, but Pash is gone. Vincent's gone. Vincent lost his vice presidentship and Pash, what was the executive vice president. He ended up getting put overseas in charge of international development, which is like being an FBI agent being sent off to Boise.
Right.
Did I miss something? Why did this Deflategate issue all of a sudden pop out of nowhere?
Because Mike Florio is the book is in pre-order. I've already ordered one. The book Playmakers, and Mike Florio includes that in the book. And these are like the little teasers to get you to pre-order the book.
Yeah. It's Goodell said it that the data they can't find it, so he just buried it. He's got no problem. It's a criminal enterprise. He's the mafioso. He just says whatever. He basically might as well tell you to screw yourself whenever you ask a question.
He's the pin cushion for the NFL. You know.
Yeah.
Each team throws like a little over $1 million in, right? And he takes all the he's the voodoo doll. They all stick.
But I want my pick back. I want my 1st and 4th round pick.
Good luck with that.
Back?
Good luck with that. Yeah, I don't think they're giving those back.
All right, Mac Jones. I tell you something. I don't know if you saw his act in the Pro Bowl and him running and doing the gritty and that stuff. This guy is comfortable in the NFL. He this year 1, I can't wait to year 2. The confidence just strips off him.
Yeah, I mean, he's more than anything else. He's comfortable in his own skin, right?
Yeah.
He's very poised. He makes fun of himself. He's humble, and he knows. Just even his answer. I think I saw an interview where I was Booger McFarland was talking to him. You know, what's the biggest thing you need to do? He's like, I gotta get my body into shape. I like ice cream too much.
Yeah, right.
You know, it's like
right?
because that's what's the one thing that we want to if you had to sit Mac right down and tell him he needed to do. It's get your body into NFL shape, strengthen your arm, strengthen your core, be ready to take a pounding.
Yeah.
That's what we tell him. It's not his mind,
No.
it's his body.
Yeah. Yeah. And now he understands that. And where Joe Newsmith comes into a new system and doesn't know what the hell he's doing in the playbook, we know that year 2, Joe, Mac Jones is going to come in and he's going to know that playbook.
Oh, I'm sure he knows the playbook. He's got to learn all the defensive playbooks all the other teams have. That's where his learning curve is. Learning the Patriots playbook is probably the simplest thing of all for him.
So, look, you don't see any other rookie quarterback coming out from, you see now the Joe Burrows of the world, but you don't see the Trevor Lawrences and stuff this comfortable.
Well, remember too that those, Mac also had the opportunity to go to a pretty good team, right? They had a bad year, but a bad year for Belichick is a good year for it's a good year for Jacksonville. So he went into a good situation.
Yeah.
Some of these other quarterbacks might be in the Josh Allen mode too. They got all the physical tools. It's just going to take them a few years to kind of get into the swing of it.
Yeah.
Well, Gerard Mayo
strengthen his arm so he can throw that 15-yard out.
Right.
He can throw it right now. He
Right.
just punts it over there.
Well, Gerard Mayo unfortunately did not get a head coaching job because I wanted those 2 third-round picks. So he's back in the fold, but he was pretty honest in an interview today with Mike Reese and said that this team linebacking core needs to get faster, more physical.
Oh,
good.
Get rid of them all.
He was pushing them all out the door too.
Yeah.
And it kind of weird. I think he must have a sense that Dante Hightower retires.
He knows. He's not saying that unless he knows what's going down.
Yeah.
He knows what's going down, right?
Because he would not. I don't think he owes anything to Van Noy, Collins, Bentley, but he definitely owes something to Hightower.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to treat him like royalty out the door and just ask him what he wants to do. It's not going to be playing, but whether a coaching job, whatever, right? They're going to handle him with care. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes. Yep. Won him 2 Super Bowls.
Down to Alabama and just being a scout, like one of their recruiting people, in SEC land.
So Joe Judge becomes an offensive assistant. What does that mean?
You know what?
It means
when Josh McDaniel first was going to leave for Indy, I remember the plan was Belichick and Judge were going to, he wasn't going to name Judge offensive coordinator. He was going to give him that year in training, but it was going to be, Belichick was going to take on a little more offensive duties than Judge was going to be in.
Do you want to put Mac Jones in Joe Judge's hands?
No.
That's what I'm worried about.
That's what I'm
Remember, we lost the quarterback coach too. The quarterback coach went with McDaniels.
That's what I'm worried about. Like
I mean, we went from having like a high caliber guy like McDaniels, and now we're throwing this guy's. His track record says this is not a good decision.
I mean, they ruined whatever Daniel Jones' potential was.
Yeah.
They ruined it.
Unwatchable. That team, I watched some of the Giants games at the end of the season.
Wasn't Jason Garrett offensive coordinator? And that got forced upon Joe Judge. Remember, Joe Judge was made head coach because the Giants had always liked Garrett when he was with the Cowboys. And the Maras brought Garrett in, and Judge had no say in the matter. And Garrett was the offensive coordinator with the Giants. I remember when Joe Judge was here, they had the best special teams, bar none, in the NFL, year after year.
So you think
McDaniels
saw the writing on the wall and realized that he was never going to be the head coach of the New England Patriots and took that job. Does that mean this is Steve Belichick's job to lose?
No, I don't think so. There's never been a situation in the NFL where a father has handed his son the team without that son going somewhere else. I don't think the Crafts are doing that. Like Belichick may have all encompassing power over who he hires now, but Belichick does not have the power to choose the next coach. And I don't think the Crafts are going to choose Steven Belichick to be the next head coach of their
I think
operation.
Jonathan Kraft is getting more power over there too. I don't see him going
Well,
along.
it would have to.
Well, he's the president of the team.
And Bob's not getting any younger,
No.
that's for sure.
No, I mean, to Belichick, when Belichick's gone, the Crafts are going to step back in and start making decisions. That's the bottom
Now,
line. And they're not going to.
Steven's been there coaching for 10 years now. And what's it, Brian's been there 5 years. Brian does the safeties, who have done well.
Yeah, obviously Gilger and Phillips, yeah. All right, boys,
And now Steven's done well with the quarterbacks.
we got to do Super Bowl predictions. We gave a little tease last week. Just so you know, I put some nice money on the Bengals at plus 165 because I feel like
Nice.
this is an even game. All right, Russ, who do you got?
I'm afraid you wasted your money.
You think?
Yeah, I think the Rams are going to beat them pretty bad. I think that defensive line of the Rams versus the biggest mismatch on the field is the defensive line for the Rams and the offensive line for the Bengals, which is just about the worst mismatch you can have on a football field, right?
All right, so you have the Rams spikes. Give me a score.
I have the Rams by 13 points.
Wow. What's the
Yeah.
spread? I don't even know what the
I think
spread
it's
is.
four.
Four. Last I
Four and
heard
a
was
half, I
four.
think I got.
Yeah.
All right, Joseph.
Oh, I too like the Rams, but I really gotta like that Joe Burrow getting sacked 9 times and winning the game. Most quarterbacks get sacked twice and they're
Yeah.
looking.
Here's the thing that
Certainly,
game.
get sacked 4 times and thrown it out of bounds.
I know, but that game was played against Ryan Tannehill, who pooped down his leg. I don't think Matthew Stafford he may throw an interception, but he's no Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah, I just think the Bengals are going to have too many mistakes. That nine sacks might be the over/under. It might be the under.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going in the field. I gotta like the Rams for all the reasons Russ said. And as much as I like Joe Burrow, I gotta like the Rams by even more, maybe by 20.
Wow. Timmy.
Well, I like Russ's point the most. As I've seen a lot of Super Bowls won by defensive lines. You know, the Giants beat the Patriots that year.
Mm-hmm.
Denver, the year they won it, the defense just takes over, and the Bengals' offensive line is their weak spot. However, I would not be surprised to see Cincinnati pull it off.
You can't do
Scotty.
that. You
No,
can't
no.
say-
What?
You can't.
So
You
Scotty,
gotta pick a
I
team.
like your bet. I like your bet at 165 to 100. I like it because there's something a little magical about this Cincinnati team. I mean, if I look at the numbers and the statistics and who the players are and everything, my brain says the Rams for sure.
All
Right?
right, so what's your prediction?
I'll go with the Rams by 10.
All right, the Bengals are going to win, guys. You guys are forgetting the best. We thought the Kansas City Chiefs were going to just have a cakewalk to win this all, and they beat Kansas City in Kansas City. That's a hell of a feat. And the Rams
I don't know.
face a-
Patrick Mahomes blacked out in the second half. So
Look, Matthew Stafford hasn't proved
They beat
yet that
Buffalo,
he
too.
can play in a big time game and be successful. The Bengals are going to upset them. This feels like 2001 Patriots stuff.
well,
I got 190, Scotty.
What's that?
I got 190.
You did? Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, Max's bookie
Really?
sucks.
Wow.
well,
190,
I think,
Joe, to 100 for the Bengals?
Yeah.
Okay,
Right.
they win
They have
24.
that, no line.
They win 27-24 in overtime.
I would love that. I'll win bets all over the place because I got the Bengals also getting the points, and I've got the Rams in my home and other bets for the most part.
Oh my God.
I get a nice middle on 3 points.
I thought I was a degenerate gambler until I met Uncle.
wow, Jesus.
Yeah. Oh my God.
All I
I was
hear
all those money. I'm spending that for one
All
side.
I hear is
do
a
it
three.
well.
All I hear is a 3 for the Bengals and a 0
Oh, I
for
don't
the
know,
Rams
Bengals.
on one of the quarters. That's all I care
Joe's
about.
going to be sleeping on our couch once they legalize gambling in Massachusetts. It's not going to go well. Da-da, da-da, da-da. Here's Uncle Joe.
Me and
They're
the
gonna
dog
name
can walk down to the betting parlor and
they're gonna name the betting bill in Massachusetts, the Joe McLaughlin bill.
I know, right? If you need help, call Joe.
Uncle Joe, call Uncle Joe.
all
1-800
all I
Uncle Joe.
did is the futures, and if the futures come in, then I'll use that money. Yeah, that's what I'm
Joe-
doing this year.
Joe, are there any prop bets that are really jumping out at you here?
I'm going down there tomorrow to see. I like the ones where we have a local flavor, like, how, will the Rams score more points than Jason Tatum against such and such a team, or who will have score more points, the Bengals kicker or rebounds for Al Horford. Things you have a little more inside information on,
Joe makes so many bets that he didn't even know you didn't even know you had a big time bet on the Red Sox winning the ALCS, right?
Oh, being in the World Series, yeah, I knew I had the ticket,
Forgot.
That was made, 6-8 months before I make these future bets. I went,
Oh,
that would have paid big. I was surprised when I saw that.
I know, right? That would have paid big time. Absolutely. All right, go to the Red Sox, and I want the season to start on time.
They just announced today that it's going to be delayed. They've
So-
already announced that spring training will not go off on time.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that the season doesn't start on time.
Speaking of that, I just drove by the Fenway spring training site about 5 minutes ago.
Oh, was that right? You in Fort Myers?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Well, maybe they'll let us play there. I'm look, everything when they do finally start making transactions, I think everything for the Red Sox depends on Suzuki. Would you agree?
How's that looking these days, by the way?
You can't know because they can't make any kind of.
Well, apparently he had a Liverpool hat on. You want to start reading into things,
I
and
thought that John Henry got rid of them.
no, and Koji pitches batting practice for him.
Yeah.
There you go. So it's almost like they're with the Red Sox right now. If Koji actually gets Suzuki to come here, and Suzuki is a star, how much more do we owe this guy?
Oh, they paid Koji pretty well for doing not a whole lot here.
So this is what's going to happen, boys. We sign Suzuki, we sign Schwarber, right? We trade JD Martinez, and then we also trade prospects for one of the Oakland A's pitchers. Sounds like a perfect offseason.
Yeah, except that probably the season will start in June 1st at this point. I don't know. I mean, I'm just these people are, both sides are just nitwits. Just nitwits from beginning
should be fired. And there's no excuse. And I can't think of one positive thing that man has done since he took over.
Yeah. Well, one of my sources told me that, they don't feel in Major League Baseball, from Major League Baseball, he said that the players' demands should be met. They're not that great. They're not asking for the moon here. And it's just the owners are just screwing around.
Well, the owners save a lot of money if they don't have spring training, right?
No, that's where they make money, Joe. They don't pay the players and they make plenty of dough there. That's what I don't understand. Right? Spring training's a big revenue for them. Well, I don't understand what they're doing. Russ?
I'm just sort of speechless about how badly Major League Baseball, and I blame the owners more than the players, has screwed this up. They're just doing so much damage to their sport, and they just can't stop it. It's incredible to me. You think about like the 10 days of buzz around the NBA trade deadline,
Yeah, right.
the Super Bowl, Brady. Like, you go off the street, people couldn't name you 15 Major League Baseball players outside of their own market.
Nope.
Just pick up the sports page any given day, and you won't even find a story about
Nothing. Nothing.
Does Mike Trout even have the best player in baseball for many years? Does he even have a national commercial that we would see?
Nothing. You
Doesn't
no
even
one.
have a website.
people wouldn't recognize Mike Trout if you plastered him all over Super Bowl ad. People
And
would
he's
like, hey, that guy.
he's the LeBron James of MLB, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And people would say, does he play for the Rams?
Patrick Mahomes. I mean, the NFL. You can't turn the TV on without seeing the guy.
It's ridiculous.
Mookie Betts. He should be getting plenty of stuff.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Nothing. Does it ever change, or does this just continue? In this
the Red Sox players is lucky to get a Sullivan's tire commercial.
Look, if they solve this, and as part of the solution to this is making some fundamental changes to make that sport more accessible and enjoyable and easier to watch, right? Then they have a chance. But if this is just, hey, let's just solve this labor thing, but we lock these current rules in for another 5 years, and every time we want to change a rule, we got to run it by the Players Association. The sport has no chance.
Yeah. And hey, Red Sox, they hired some consulting group, and I wanted to be the consulting group to decide what's the best time to start the games. Between it was 6:30, 7, or 7:30. Look,
Whatever time the
6:30 is the best time to start the games.
Yeah.
What do you say?
I would say 6:15 or 6:30. I think starting a game at 7 o'clock these days is just, you're just asking for, no one's staying awake for these stupid 3.5 hour, games in May against the Tigers.
And the
what are we
advertisers
doing?
are the one that are pushing for the latest start because they want to be in prime time. But there's no one watching the 7th, 8th,
No
and
one
9th
watching.
inning.
I just wish they would drop it to 7 innings. That would be, I
Totally agree.
That would appease me for a long time.
Totally agree, Timmy.
So what do you
Totally
think they'll
agree.
pick? What do you think
That's
they'll
a lot of revenue being thrown out the door.
I know,
What time are you gonna? What time are they gonna pick?
6:30.
Joe?
7.
Yeah. Timmy?
I think 7.
I think they go to 6:30. I think they.
I love it.
That would be great for us season ticket holders.
6:40. Start the game. Just first pitch at 6:40. I mean, anything. Other than like 7:30 or 7:20. It's just
Even a 3-hour game. You're out of there 9:45. That's pretty reasonable.
Mhm.
You see another cities pick this game starting at 6 o'clock. Especially on the West Coast, it's 6 o'clock start. Doesn't seem to bother them any.
Yeah. All right, go to the Bruins. Brad Marchand. I don't understand it. This guy is, one of the top players in the league, but he can't help himself. He has to be a goon. And this last night, and he attacked the goaltender twice within seconds. He punched him, and then he stuck his stick in the guy's face.
Now, does anybody know what got Marchand so pissed off? I didn't see it.
I think it might have been going back when Bergeron got the concussion. That Jerry must have said something, and then he went over and slugged him. And then Jerry chirped again, and that's when he went at him with the stick when the referee was holding him.
Like they always talk about, there's a fire. Well, what caused the fire? You know what I mean? Now,
This was
in my book, if my teammate gets concussion and there was something rotten done, I don't know what this goalie said that infuriated him so much. Not that I'm saying what he did was correct, but I'd love to know what started that fire,
Because all he did was say something. He didn't touch him, didn't hit him, which makes Marchand even look worse.
But also the referee was restraining him.
Yeah,
I know.
Did both acts when the referee's restraining him is uncalled for. How many?
Yeah, the stick to the head at the end. That was just totally out of control. And his track record is so low. It's not like a first time offense. I mean, this is like the 15th drunk driving. You know what I mean? What are they going to do?
Russ, how many games does he get? And I'm just asking the question, could he get the rest of the season?
No. I think he's going to get between 5 and 7 games. I'm not saying this isn't a big deal. He loses his mind, once a year, right?
Yeah.
He just loses his mind. And I just think it is what it is. And he's one of the top 10 players in the NHL, and he loses his mind. Right? Like, I don't know.
This could really hurt the Bruins. I mean, as we know, only 3 people on that team score, and he's one of them.
Yeah.
Timmy, how many games does he get?
I'm predicting 10.
Yep. All right, Joe.
I'll go the low end with Russ on 5, where it was more of an intent to injure than he actually injured the guy. And the NHL isn't as stupid as Major League Baseball. They know they still got to sell tickets. They want to sell tickets for the rest of the season. They'll want Marshy, especially Bergeron's not going to be around.
Yeah, I had some tickets for tomorrow night, and I called the reseller, and they said no Marchand or Bergeron. They're like they're worth nothing.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's amazing.
That's a huge indicator. 12 games. He's gonna at some point. You're gonna have to send a message and make it painful. And his peers, there's gonna have to be some peers, some Bergerons, and maybe Cam Neely say, "Cut the shit, Brad. Please. This has got to be the last time." And you got to wake this guy up. The sport doesn't need it. All right.
He gets into the rage. It's like I've been there.
He just lost his temper with Jerry there. Just completely flipped.
Wasn't Gordie Howe a complete hothead? I mean, Howe was a complete hothead too, wasn't he?
But the rules were different then. The rules were different.
I understand that. I understand that.
But that happened all the time.
Yeah.
But there was no replay
out there, but he's so freaking valuable to this team. He's such a good hockey player.
There was no Twitter back then, Russ.
No, for sure.
24/7.
Yeah.
All right,
Gordie Howe would have been suspended a zillion times.
Breaking news to end the show. Timmy did it. He forced Tuukka Rask to retire.
He did.
Long statement. He mentioned
golf clubs.
We mentioned Tim Hoey numerous times, and then
I have a rebuttal. My humiliating talk about Tuukka drove him to be a better goaltender the last 2 years.
I like that, Tim. I like that.
He finally listened to me and started stopping letting crappy goals in. I got to give him credit. He played well his last couple of years here. He let in a lot of softies before that, but I liked the way he was playing before he got injured. I did. And did I want that goalie still here, that same guy? Yes, but I was hoping he was going to whip himself into shape by playoff time, but maybe he feels something or knows something that he knows it's not happening. But I give him credit for giving it a try.
You get to a certain age, to me, it's tough to come back from injury.
The hip's a tough injury to come back from.
The hip is once you get a hip problem, that's it. It's just a matter of time. Absolutely.
That's what got me, Scotty.
All right. Well, Timmy's fault. Right before we go, Russ, is Tuukka Rask going to get his number retired?
Oh, great question.
That's a good question.
No Stanley Cup, right?
No, he was a backup.
Yeah, he was a backup, but he wasn't the goalie. He never won a cup as a goalie. I say yes because the standards have been lowered, but I don't think he deserves it.
I mean, was he a better player for the Bruins than Terry O'Reilly?
Oh, Terry O'Reilly was a god. Are you kidding me, Scott?
He's worth more than Nifty Middleton. I'll give him that.
Yeah, I mean, look, should he? I guess when you compare him to those guys, I think he's just borderline. I think he was a really, really, really good goaltender for the Bruins for a long time.
Yeah. Russell perfectly put. The numbers support it, that's for sure. But did he come through when we really needed him? He never really did.
No cup, no number. Simple as that.
So Timmy, so you think no number retired?
Yeah, no cup,
if I had a vote. He in that he's not in that category as a Bruin in my mind. Even though the numbers say something different.
So
he never came through, and made those Tim Thomas saves that you need to do to win a Stanley Cup.
So we have one. Wait, is Jerry Cheever's number retired?
I don't know.
I don't think so. No, I don't think so.
Remember, he jumped to the other league.
Yeah,
the WHA.
I don't think to the WHA.
We have no retired numbers.
No, Tiny's up there.
What's that?
Tiny Thompson?
Yeah, Tiny's number is retired.
Who?
And how about Frank Brimsek?
Go back to the 20s. Frank Brimsek number retired too?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's 2 goalies. We're going back to
Yeah.
the 20s and 30s here, Scott.
Even rubber
Way down in the alley.
with the
They were
with the
using
puck
double
have
blades
rollers?
back then, Scotty. They were using double blades back then on the bottom of their skates.
No
They
mask.
could only 6.
But Joe acted like he was a neighbor of his, Tiny. I'm like,
I know his name.
Yeah.
Literally never heard of those two human beings.
no.
I've heard
How about
quite a
Milt
bit of it.
Schmidt?
Yes, I've
What's
heard
the
of
guy?
Milt Schmidt. Yeah. I've
Eddie
heard of
Shore.
Milt
The
Schmidt.
goaltender.
And he
All
sure,
time,
yeah.
all time hockey, Scotty.
But before there was running water,
Clapper.
since
He's
there's
the
been
other one
running
with
water, Joe, there has not been a goaltender's number retired, right?
What's that?
Since there's been running water.
Well, they had running water. It was just cold water. It wasn't hot.
Is this electricity?
Yeah, it wasn't hot water. It was cold water they had.
All right, so based on that theory, goaltender I heard is a pretty important position in hockey. They should retire one goaltender in their history.
Yeah, you gotta win a cup or 2.
He won a
He
cup.
was in 2 penultimate games. He lost them both.
You know, I tell you,
Johnny was not a good showing.
He
I
was
think
on
if
the
they
team
beat,
that won a cup.
I think if they beat Chicago that year in the cup, I think he gets his number up there. But I think because they lost that, he doesn't make the cut.
He
All right,
doesn't lose that 5th game in overtime on that soft goal. They would have won the cup.
Jesus, he didn't get treated well at his retirement party, did he?
No, we still don't give him a kind of a.
I know. You guys will be ripping him next year too. All right, well, that's our show for tonight. Want to thank Ian behind the scenes.
Thank you, Ian.
Please check us out on our website at thegrandstanders.com and tune in again next Wednesday night at 6:30 for another edition of Grandstanders Live. I'm your host, Scott Kerman. Have a great and happy night.